like to tell family members with children with disabilities, they should not give up on their own, on family members with disabilities.
And don't hide them as well.
Not hide them, because if my parents hid me, I don't think I'll be here. So I want to urge all family members to always give support to those with disabilities. Don't lock them up, give them room to grow, like give them room to go out there and like defend themselves, and be themselves. I want a society where we are given opportunities to be who we are, not to be what the society wants us to be, an inclusive one. So like provide these opportunities for everyone. Like that's 5 years from now, I hope we'll be as inclusive as possible. Not just in our workplace, even at our home, everywhere we should just be as inclusive as possible.
Disability is not inability. In fact, disability can be defined as having a different kind of ability, which can be used to impact the world. And that's what we're discussing today on Unscripted with a very, very special guest filming right here at Lenana Swiss Hotel. Thank you so much for hosting us and welcome to the show. Let's get started. Welcome to Unscripted with me, Grace. Now today's show is a special one for me. I have been looking forward to meeting you, Liz. I'm a big fan of what you stand for, and I'd love to hear your story. Welcome to the show, Liz.
Thank you so much, Grace.
Nashukuru sana umekuja.
Asante, I'm honored to be here.
Really?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me here.
I'm the humbled one. I'm the humbled one. Tell me about your... Who is Liz first? Tell me about Liz.
Liz, okay, basically my name is Elizabeth Mangeni. My friends call me Queen Lizzie.
Yes, that's your Instagram handle. Queen Lizzie kwa nini?
Kwa sababu ni queen, so I own my own world.
That's true.
And also I'm the co-founder of You for She initiative, where we basically advocate for persons with disability, especially women who face double discrimination. And I'm also a trade development officer with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperatives.
Well done.
So I'm a civil servant. Basically promote local trade, local entrepreneurship.
Good job.
So it's always a privilege, like going to mashinani and talking to people face to face. So I was involved in a road accident when I was 3 years old. We were traveling from Nairobi to Busia, to Kotnenda Ushago. So somewhere along Gilgil, our bus kind of hit the lorries, the military lorries. Yeah, because somewhere around Gilgil it's a military territory, if I can say that. So in that process, I was able to lose my leg.
Sorry.
I can't really remember well, but my parents told me about it. They had to tell me because I felt different when I was growing up. I felt like, why do I have only one leg?
So at 3 years old, after the accident, you had to be amputated?
Yes, I had to be amputated. Yes, I was amputated immediately. So, during the accident, I had a below knee amputation.
What does that mean? You can help.
So below knee amputation, it's basically, I lost my legs somewhere around here.
I see.
Yeah. So I went through surgery. Then after a while, the doctors thought like, okay, the wound was becoming septic. It was removing a foul smell. So they had to come up and cut an above knee amputation. So I'm above knee amputee.
Got it.
Yeah, right leg above knee amputee. So
there's a difference.
So there's
below
a
knee and
difference
above
below
knee.
and above. With below knee, it's a bit easier to move around. Nobody will notice if you have a prosthetic leg. But with above knee, you have to get like knees, and it's a bit difficult with the above knee. Therapy sessions and all, it's a bit difficult.
So from as young as 3 or 4, you had a prosthetic leg?
Yes.
How did that process happen? Is it as easy to access one here locally? How's the journey been like?
The journey was not easy. I can assure you that, Grace. Actually, it's my dad. He saw an advertisement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he saw an advertisement somewhere. And he was like, okay, my daughter needs a leg.
Now you're how old at this time?
I was like 4 years old. So he thought, my daughter needs a leg. She has a long way to go. So she took me, because at that time my mom was also hurt during the
accident.
Okay, nobody was, like, people had injuries, but I was the one with critical injury, like, because I had lost my leg and I was 3 years old and my bones were brittle. So my mom was still healing, so my dad decided to take me. He normally tells me he carried me on his back and took me to Nairobi. There's the Jaipur footwear. It's in Westlands.
I see.
So, near National Council for Persons with Disability offices, where they took my measurements, and after taking my measurements, they fitted me with the legs and all. It's a process, because you have to start walking with a new leg. You have to undergo therapy because you're a bit hesitant. You might
it's something
fall.
new, it's foreign,
It's foreign, and then it's like a bit heavier for you to even use it to walk. So you have to go through therapy. Okay, I was still young, so I don't think I needed like a psychiatrist or somebody to talk to me.
Yes.
So I don't even remember. So I was just doing whatever my dad was telling me to do.
See.
So
you got one for free?
Yes,
Okay.
it was for free, because it was a donation from an Indian organization, Rotary Club, from India. So I got the leg, and then my journey started with the prosthesis leg. I grew up with it. I would change after every year.
Oh, I see. Why is that?
Yeah, I will just go at the same place, because where you get the leg is where you're supposed to go for maintenance and therapy. So I used to go back it depends with how fast I grew, because when you grow
as
taller,
you grow, you have to change.
you have to change.
Makes
So
sense.
I had to keep changing. After 2 years, I'll go change. After 3 years, like, it depends with the rate.
And each time, is it
growth.
free or is it at a cost?
It was free.
Oh, wow.
It was free of charge.
That's good to know.
So I grew in school. It was a bit different when I was, when you are young.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, you have a plastic leg, you can't feel pain. Like, so I had so many friends when you are young. When you are young, you are
There are
naive.
many questions.
Many questions, but then I was like the celebrity in school. So in my class, like, even the teachers would wonder how the leg. I just grew up with the leg, but then things started changing. When you are growing up, going to adolescent, you feel like you have the changes in your body and all. You feel I'm different. Something is amiss. I don't look like the rest.
The others.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
So what did you do? How did you deal with that?
I told, okay, for me, I felt staying indoors was more of better for me. At least I will I will shut myself from the rest of the world.
You used to hide.
Yes. And if I'm going outside, I will wear like a bit of the big clothes. Like I'll wear long skirts.
Yeah.
I never used to wear trousers. I will wear long skirts or big dresses.
Just to hide.
Just to hide. If my mom suggests I wear like a skirt or something, I'm like, no, I'm just comfortable with the long dresses. And then at times we'll go out, you find somebody imitating how you walk. That was like a sword to my heart. I will feel, okay, I'm different. Why is he imitating me?
And
how
it's a
I'm
child.
walking?
Usually with kids.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I said, I won't be going anywhere. I'll just be indoors.
So walking around the world then, prosthetic leg, that's the reality.
That's the reality.
You feel like people are staring at you. You do get the stares. What's the, I don't know, the strangest moment that happened with your leg? What moments can you tell us about that has happened?
At times I will just fall in front of people in a public place, and the moment you fall, the leg can basically come off.
Oh no.
Okay, for my previous leg, it used to have a belt. You have to tie the belt.
You fasten it.
You have to fasten it, and then the belt will just like cut. I don't know, because of the friction and all. The leg will fall off. So that was like that one will take me weeks to get over
to recover.
It. So I just grew up with the leg. At times I would think my leg will grow back, but it never did.
Oh, that's what you used to think when you were younger.
I think I'm still growing, so the leg will grow back. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So I had to live with the reality.
Oh wow.
Yes, I'm happy I had support from family and my dad, my family, my sisters, my siblings. They never gave up on me. Okay. So, because my dad, he took me to the regular schools. He thought I needed to integrate with other students,
exactly.
so that I could understand myself better. He also took me to a boarding school in high school.
He did?
Yeah, so that I could at least learn to live independently, wash my clothes.
How was that for you?
I cried for like 2 months, and then
I can imagine. Love kazoea.
And kazoea, because I'm like, the school, it's different washrooms. I have to remove my leg while taking a bath, so the attention, okay, at times students will be like shocked. How is this? Because you have to remove the leg when you're taking your bath. You can't
bath with it.
You can't bath with it.
Okay.
It's, most of our legs are not water resistant, waterproof or anything. So you have to remove it. While sleeping, you have to remove it.
I see.
You can't sleep with the leg. The leg is there to assist you in movement,
Got it.
not to sleep and to also assist you during your household chores.
I see.
Yeah. So
So there were many moments where people would be very surprised.
And then I also didn't like the world. When I go out, you'll find people staring at you, because I used to limp a lot and I never used to have a crutch or anything. So people will stare at you, others would ask questions, children will keep looking at you. So it was a bit irritating.
As we go on a break, you can tell us how you dealt with that time, how you dealt with all the stares and the questions. How did you deal with it?
So for the stares and questions, I had my sister. She will accompany me everywhere I'll go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she.
So people don't disturb you?
So when people looked at me, she would be like, stop staring at her. Or when people, like, she was there to assist me. She was like my bodyguard. By every time I will go out, my mom will be like, Mary, accompany your sister. Okay. Or any of my siblings will be around. Okay. My parents would be like, accompany your sister wherever she's going. So I felt like it was also not giving me the independence to be myself, and to also
stand up for yourself.
Yes. So but with time I grew out of it, and it was a different story.
And now look at you. We'll come back with more from Liz as we hear more about her quite interesting and exciting journey. Stay tuned. Your story is quite something, and for you, because of the reality of living a prosthetic leg and having the world trying to understand and figure out, but how do you move? Someone just asked you during the break, and how do you shower? How do you get out of bed? So for you, so two things. What does, if Liz was asked to define perfection, what does perfection mean to you?
Perfection to me is when you necessarily don't have all body parts. You can be missing a leg and you're perfect. You can be missing one arm, you're perfect. You can be black, you can be brown, you're just perfect. Even without hair, you are just perfect. So lately I've been using social media to show people the different perfection. As long as I say I'm perfect, just live with it. I'm perfect. So we can have flaws, we can have as long as you even have flaws, you are just perfect to God and to everyone who comes and interacts with you.
That's true.
So there's no definition of perfect, I believe.
Just as you are is enough. And what about disability? What does disability mean to you?
Disability means you see the world at a different angle. You don't necessarily stick to the status quo. You see the world as a different place, because whatever people take for granted, like just walking, running, people with disability can't do that.
True.
So with disability, it's a different world for us. You have to put more effort in order to do something. You have to go through the longer route in order to get where you want to go to. So I feel disability has really changed my life. I don't think without this disability I'll be who I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of changing your life and changing the lives of others, You for She. Tell me more about that initiative. Okay.
So You for She was basically started to empower the girl child on menstrual hygiene.
I see.
Yeah. So we will go to schools, primary schools mostly. Okay. And teach girls on menstrual hygiene, and we also give free sanitary towels. Okay. But then I felt there was a gap when it came to disability awareness, especially for girl child.
Really?
You know, there's the gap, because as a girl with disability, you are not taught about your sexuality. You are not taught about how to handle yourself during your menstrual hygiene. It's you have to do it yourself. Okay. You're not taught about contraceptive. We learned it's a different world for girls with disabilities.
How so?
So I thought, let me start empowering and advocating for the rights of girls and women with disabilities, because they are kind of left out in so many things in the society.
In the community, okay.
Like people are embracing men with disability,
But not women.
But not women, especially
Really?
the girls. Yeah, because for us, you can go for maternity. You need an inclusive bed. You don't get
that's
it
not there.
in hospital.
Okay.
You can go for sexual reproductive health sessions.
Yeah.
It's only meant for other women, but
Okay.
you are left out as a woman with disability. You are on a wheelchair.
I
So
see.
how do I do this?
Okay.
It's kind of different. So I felt we need to do more of empowerment.
Okay.
We've also had women with disabilities being killed by their spouses or staying in a relationship because the man believes the woman can't survive without him.
Yeah.
Like, you're a woman with disability, especially if you're on a wheelchair.
I see.
You need him to support you, to help you in all that. So that's how we started advocating for the rights of women and girls with disabilities. We go to Busia, rural places.
Nice.
We go and visit women in rural areas. We
And
talk
what do
to
you,
them.
when you visit them, yes, what do you do with them or for them?
So we mentor them,
Okay.
and we also encourage them to start businesses,
Okay.
entrepreneurship. We also try to register them with National Council for Persons with Disability.
Oh, wow.
Because when you are registered, you can get different services at a subsidized cost
Okay.
or free of charge. We also try to tell them their rights. Most of them believe they have no rights.
Really?
So we tell them they have rights. So we go to rural places, and the stories we get there and the stories they share are just amazing, because you find someone who's crawling, a woman going to the shamba, growing crops and
Yeah.
taking kids to school because the husband maybe left them because they have the disability. So it's a
So the
different
reality
place.
of people living with disability in the country is still...
Yeah. We have good policies. The government is trying to implement them,
Yeah.
but not
Where's the
everywhere.
gap? Okay.
It's not everywhere. You only found it in big cities. You can find in Nairobi. We have ramps. You can get the ramps. You can get an accessible washroom. But when you go to rural places,
They're not there yet.
They're not there, and people are really suffering. So we try to advocate for that, but in a positive way, not in a bitter way to show.
Okay.
Now we try to
Just by
advocate for
creating
it.
awareness and pushing for...
Yeah, and we recruit more and more people, even those without disabilities, to help us in our cause.
Well done. You also have another one, Mama Farm Foundation.
Oh,
That's
Mama
not-
Farm
What's that
Foundation.
about? Yeah.
Oh,
Is that
oh.
completely different?
That one basically, it's a pig farm. We tell women to come and we rear the pigs on their behalf.
Yeah.
So I just spoke to my dad and he allowed us a piece of his shamba somewhere in the garden. We built a place where we do pig farm.
Yeah.
And then we feed the pigs. The women take care of the pigs. After taking care of the pigs, after a pig gives birth, after it gives birth, we give them the piglets so that they can also start rearing. And because there's high demand of pork, we noticed there was high demand from Farmers' Choice.
Is this
So that
for
would
women
be
with disability or just women in
just
general?
women. That was women in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. Where do you get your drive from?
From the experiences while growing up,
Yeah.
you face the discrimination and the stigmatization, and also we meet these women who have the will to they really want to be more independent and do something, but they never have the opportunity to do so. So this always pushes me to do more.
Yeah.
I might not be able to give them the money, but at least to make them have businesses that is sustainable, something that can make them more independent and at least enable them to not depend on their family members.
Okay. Make them independent.
Yeah.
So for you, what would you say so far has been your biggest life lesson?
My biggest life lesson was,
especially living as a person with disability.
I've interacted with other people who live with disability, from people who are deaf, the others who are deaf blind.
Yeah.
They can't hear, they can't see, and they can't speak, and others who are on wheelchairs. They always encourage me a lot because I always felt my disability was the major one. But then when I meet them, somebody on a wheelchair not being able to walk and not being able to use their leg, but they are really pushing out there, it really encourages me. And somebody who can't see the world, but they have this vision that you even wonder how
they do it.
My interaction with the other types of disabilities has really encouraged me a lot in my area of work. And I'm trying to learn the other disabilities because mine is physical. So I'm trying to learn the other disabilities, and I appreciate them every day.
Oh, really? You're trying to learn others, like which ones?
So we have the deaf, you have to learn sign language interpretation.
Oh, so you're trying to teach yourself sign language.
So I have a friend who's deaf and I can't communicate to her. So you have a blind friend, visually impaired, visually impaired, and then you don't have to always hold their hands everywhere you go. You just have to like use like on your left, on your right, like you don't have to take them as babies. They can do things on their own. We have cerebral palsy. People actually think they have mental problems, but they don't. It's just that their muscles are kind of weak, so they are a bit slow when it comes to doing stuff. So
you're intentional about learning about the different journeys.
I'm trying to learn all the types of disabilities and learning how to interact with all of them in a way that doesn't make them feel unworthy of.
Oh, look at you. What made you decide to go public with your story and share about it online, and how's the effect and feedback been for you so far?
Actually, when I was sharing my story online, I didn't think I'll receive I didn't think I'll receive so many likes or people coming up to me. I thought like, let me just do it, because during the fellowship, the exchange program that I was in, we were taught like to leave our comfort zone. So I was like, okay, let me do something different. Let me talk about my disability in a more positive way. So I shared it, and the outcome was good. The feedback was good. I really liked it.
How does that feedback impact you or affect you or change you when you hear from other people?
Because you'll have somebody coming to your inbox, they're like, hey, you inspired me. I have my mom who was also amputated. I wish you could meet her and speak to her. I've actually gone to places with total strangers because they really want me to like meet their family members who have been amputated, so that at least their family members can see like if you have no leg, you can still live your life. So it's been inspiring. I've been learning a lot personally. Like I can go to a place I've never been to.
Really?
That itself is growth for me. I may not have like the funding and the grant, but we try as much as possible. But it's just the motivation, like you being there, somebody seeing you and thinking, okay, so if she can live her life, work, and also just like live well with others, I think I can also do the same. So it's been a good journey so far.
I love your positive energy.
Thank you.
I love it. As we wrap, what last words would you like to tell people watching at home?
I like to tell family members with children with disabilities, they should not give up on their own on family members with disabilities.
And don't hide them as well.
Not hide them, because if my parents hid me, I don't think I'll be here. Like we have families hiding their kids, others even
it happens a lot.
Killed their children with disabilities. We have an example where one of my friends was telling me there's a family back at her place. They had twins, one who had a disability and the other didn't have. So they killed the one with disability. But then after years and years, they saw her, she has a disability and she's successful. And then they had the baby that they didn't kill, like had issues, like maybe family issues, kind of issues, bad issues. So they were like, I wish we hadn't killed our child with disability. Maybe she would have been far like our neighbor's kid. So I want to urge all family members to always give support to those with disabilities. Don't lock them up, give them room to grow, like give them room to go out there and like defend themselves, and be themselves. So I just urge parents to do that.
I hope they heard you. If there's one wish or desire or dream you have as Liz, what is that?
I always wanted to. I want a community where we are given a society where we are given opportunities to be who we are, not to be what the society wants us to be.
An all-inclusive one.
Yeah, an inclusive one. So like provide these opportunities for everyone. Like that's 5 years from now, I hope will be as inclusive as possible. Not just in our workplace, even at our home, everywhere, we should just be as inclusive as possible.
And that's how you end the show. May we get to a better place of inclusivity for every person, disabled, black, brown, white. We're all one at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Liz.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for sharing your
having me.
story. Your leg is beautiful, you're beautiful. At home, you are enough, whoever you are. I hope her story has inspired you. You can find her online. Do reach us. Our details are below. We'll contact you with Liz. And we appreciate you for watching. We thank you once again to Swiss Lanamount for hosting us. Do have yourselves a good night. God bless and see you next week. Bye.